Sacco and Feliz, New York and New Jersey's premier attorneys at law. Their team brings decades of experience across a wide range of practice areas. Whatever life brings, they're your legal team. From everyday matters to complex cases, they've got you covered with the experience you need and the results you want. Because when life gets complicated, they make it simple. SaccoFeliz.com. SACCOFILLAS.com. 2 C's, 2 L's.
Good morning. This is Mike Stoller for the Stoller Real Estate Report. New York City needs housing, especially affordable housing. There's not that much land around the city, but over the years, a company called the Gotham Development Organization has built a variety of market rate and affordable apartments throughout the city, including Long Island City, an urban village not too far in East New York, and numerous projects to provide housing and retail for the community of New York. Today, I'm lucky to have Bryan Kelly, who is the president of Gotham Organization, who's building a project called Monitor Point. Bryan, tell me what's happening in Greenpoint.
Michael, the opportunity in Greenpoint is once in a lifetime. At the nexus of the southern tip of Greenpoint and the north side of Williamsburg, right adjacent to the Bushwick Inlet, we have an opportunity to remove an industrial non-conforming use facing the East River where the MTA mobile wash unit and material control storage unit operate today on a site that's zoned for housing dating back to 2005.
So why don't you tell me a little history? You've been involved with this development since 2019, I believe.
Yeah, so in 2019, pro bono land use attorney to a community organization called the Greenpoint Monitor Museum was interested in replying with a responsible and comprehensive developer on an MTA RFP to redevelop the adjacent property, which is the mobile wash unit. And as stewards of affordable mixed income development throughout the city, we've really, over the years, have worked mostly in public-private partnership, looked at it as an opportunity to combine the museum's land and the MTA's land to address a multitude of goals. One, connectivity and creating open space. Two is creating density for housing, but with deep affordability. Three is to support public infrastructure, to build the MTA a new home off-site in an appropriate industrial location, and to remove truck traffic from a residential neighborhood and put it in an appropriate location where necessary highway access is, and to sustain through ground tenant revenue. We're not going to be buying the land here. It's a public-private partnership supporting the capital plan for the MTA. So we think this isn't just one singular focus. It has a multitude of benefits.
The question is, why hasn't anything been done in this property over the years? I mean, 20 years ago, Jeff Levine really created the input in Williamsburg. Why not Greenpoint?
This site has been sitting idle because although zoned for housing, and you would think the attractiveness of the location would have created momentum, the hardest part is the needle in the haystack, finding a location for the MTA that has access to highways, the footprint necessary, and the competence of a redeveloper to find that location and build it. And we did just that. That's why I think we were the winner. We found the right site, and we have the skill sets to work with a government entity to meet their need before we can unlock a site for housing.
In your presentation, you spoke about the waterfront redevelopment, providing 40% permanently affordable housing through mandatory inclusionary housing. Would you explain what that means?
Sure. Mandatory inclusionary housing means that in concert with any land use action changing zoning, you would provide affordable housing, and there are various options for it. And we've selected an option that provides the deeper levels of affordability that have been seen on the waterfront here. And that would be income bands citywide from what we call 40% of the area median income.
Which is what?
For a single household, it's anywhere from $35,000 to $45,000. Working upwards to the 80 AMI band could be multiple earners just north of $100,000. And so the objective here was to create market rate homes that cross-subsidize deep affordability. And deep affordability means homes for working class families and individuals who get the same public equity and access to the waterfront than those who are enriched. And so creating an integrated community.
Let's talk about what is mandatory inclusionary housing.
Mandatory inclusionary housing means that the affordability would be permanent, forever. And so as long as that building is built or there's a new building built 100 years from now, permanent affordability at those depths of affordability run with the land.
Okay, approximately 1,150 proposed units, or 40%, will be permanently affordable to households earning no more than 100% of the area median income. Is that normal for this?
On the North Brooklyn waterfront and in the surrounding areas, there has been a tremendous amount of housing developed because of the conversion of industrial land to housing. With that said, this is a profound level, not only in total affordability, also in depth of affordability. I would say the mark has been 20 to 25% over the last 20 years, depending on the tax exemption programs used to build housing. 40% is a high watermark, and the depth of affordability is very strong. You've seen a lot of homes built at the middle income level, and this is homes provided for those within the working class. Like I said, between $40,000 to $110,000, $120,000.
Oh, let's talk about job creation.
So working backwards upon completion of this building, we work with the union trades at 32BJ to run, build, and maintain our buildings. We work with the laborers unit at Local 79 and really work on local job training and apprenticeships to create workforce, including integrating local residents into that. And importantly, the new home for the MTA facility will preserve 245 plus MTA jobs for 3 critical functions. One, I should mention, although indirect, we're also part of the new home building, the emergency response unit, which unlocks the front door to Bach Street Park, which is under construction in North Greenpoint as well.
Let's talk about the emergency response unit. Where is it currently?
It currently sits on Commercial Street on the north end of facing Commercial, and it's at the north end of Greenpoint. And it is essentially a unit that goes out to deal with emergency situations, whether there was an act of violence or a fire, and it dispatches through to the various highways. So it's getting relocated to a location that makes that access better and gives it a brand new turnkey facility. And it removes it from land that was designated as park or to be a park in North Greenpoint. And so we're removing an obstacle.
What is the Monitor Museum?
The Greenpoint Monitor Museum was donated its land in 2003. It's an organization that's community roots date back to the 1800s when the USS Monitor ship, an ironclad battleship, was constructed and launched from the area. Its founders and board really focus on education in the schools and preserving the history of the ship and the Civil War history. And as part of the master plan, we are going to assist in turnkey developing and constructing a museum adjacent to the housing buildings and integrated with the overall larger open space plan.
What about retail and development?
Retail in our buildings is intended to be an amenity to the residents. So things of everyday life, whether it's pharmacy, grocery, daycare, those, food and beverage, those are the kind of uses we are focused on so that our residents in the larger community have a livable and walkable community.
Who's taking care of the maintenance of the Inlet Park?
So the open space that we're creating, which is north of 50,000 square feet, including the Esplanade and the Park Portal, will be built by us at our cost and expense and maintained. And in addition, because we're adjacent to the park and we know it's so precious to the community and the citywide, we're going to make annual contributions to the Parks Department to support the ongoing maintenance of Bushwick Inlet Park as it's built over time.
Okay. With regard to permanent affordability, would you explain how it remains permanently affordable, even if the person makes more money?
So the purpose of affordable housing is to not only create homes for those of the working class, but also preserve that home. So rent-stabilized tenants in the income-based units are protected over the long term within their homes so that they have stable rental increases and can remain within the community for a very long time.
What other projects similar have you and your company recently done?
We like to undertake developments that provide a challenge, and the challenge results in mixed income, deep affordability, or housing developments that are anchored by civic use. Examples of our work include the Innovative Urban Village in East New York, where we're joint venture partners with Christian Cultural Center and Monadnock Development. We're halfway there to building upwards of 2,000 affordable housing apartments with a performing arts center, a campus quad, grocery, pharmacy, intergenerational housing, and a tremendous amount of workforce development programming that we've been undertaking. And in the last few years, we completed the master plan for Covenant House, where we built them a turnkey brand new home for their shelter and programs, as well as new office space at the base of our building called the Mayberry, which is a mixed income housing development on the west side in Hudson Yards. And I'd say a last really important example would be in the Lower East Side. The Broome Street development generated through another ULURP land use action of Jewish Cultural Heritage Center, the headquarters for the Chinese American Planning Council, the nation's largest Asian American social services provider, and 500 homes of housing, including 115 senior affordable units and more than 100 permanently affordable workforce units.
I think have they definitely confirmed you as the developer?
The developer of which one?
Right, of the project. The master developer.
Yes, the master developer for sure. The relationships we've created through these not-for-profit and public-private partnerships are really life-lasting.
I think you've done a great job. The entire Pickett family and everyone else should be welcomed and appreciated for what they've done for the city. And I hope to see both projects in the near future. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michael.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.